What's going on, everybody? It's bright and early, although it doesn't quite look like it, and a cool sub 70 degrees. It's going to be 100 degrees a day. Pre-shooting some video for just because it's cool out. So the plan is to come in and harvest all the large tomatoes that I can. So this is July 4th weekend, and see how many that I can pick while it's still cool and not hot, and see if there's enough that I can do a small canning session. So that is the goal. So that's just some footage for there. And just tomatoes everywhere. We know that, right? That's just a common theme. We've got tomatoes. Here's a tomato, there's a tomato. Everybody gets a tomato. Cherry tomatoes are going pretty crazy. I've actually have to pick up stuff, so a bunch of these are going to get zipped into salsa this weekend, so that way they don't go bad. Right, just everything's ripening with the heat, and that's a good and a bad thing all at the same time. But I can barely even walk in here. As you can see, everything's just overhanging down the center. But there's just tomatoes everywhere, and that's the goal, is to slip in here and sit on the ground and get in here and pick what I can from the large tomato side of things. Again, all the plants are healthy, they're still doing their thing. I have not done any hand pollinating, except for just initially the first few weeks, and I haven't touched a darn thing. The wind has been, doing its thing and keeping things working where I didn't have to touch anything. So, but it's just like, person Tetris trying to get through everything. So, anyways, just a quick piece of update, and then after I pick, I'll slide a picture or two in, and we'll go from there. Well, just real quick, so there's a small box full of tomatoes. I'll try to weigh it later. I have to dig out the postage scale. There's a couple more, a little bit on the orange side, but they will ripen up. It's kind of hard to tell when you're in a greenhouse. They look a lot riper. A couple weird odds and ends, and there's about a dozen that are going to change color in a day or two. Not that it really matters. So, figure tomorrow and Monday, check on them, pick what's left, and probably do canning session on Monday. I'm afraid if I leave the rest of these for another week, then they might get more ripe than I want them to be. And it's a 3-day weekend, so I have the extra time, so we'll see. Hey, what's going on? 4th of July. This is part 2 for the inside the greenhouse. As you'll see in the early part of this video, I already did some picking, so this is the day after. I'll do the rest of the picking tomorrow. This is just a little piece, because I was just going to get in here and start picking. Trying to get the most ripe ones. Talked about we're going to get into salsa, but you can see this is all weepy and droopy. I checked everything yesterday. Everything was fine, but apparently the bucket clogged. So I've got to get in there and fix the tubes, but I already got in with the garden hose and filled the bucket up, so hopefully the plant will recuperate by the end of the day. I just started picking the cherry tomatoes. I'm like, you know what, I better capture that on video before I do a lot of picking. Because if you look at these, although on camera they may look more red, but they're more orange. This one's just starting to get more red compared to this color. So lots of growth going on, lots of picking to be done. There's that giant cluster back there. We'll see how many's going on there, and obviously a bunch of the lunchbox peppers. And then we've got monster tomatoes hiding in here that are not ready to be picked. They probably got another week or two. But that's it for a splice into the inside update. Great timing, the air conditioner just turned off for a moment, so these monster grape tomatoes, which look like aroma, but trust me, they're grape tomatoes. I mean, they're monstrous. Varying levels of ripeness and size of cherry tomatoes. I clipped a couple that were on the vine still. I mean, doesn't it look cool? And then there's just a ton of cherry and grape hanging out in there. The sad part, or the good part, depending how you want to look at it, that's all going to be salsa. So one of many pieces to this video this week. Alright, gonna wrap up all these spliced up pieces together and finish up a video. So of course there goes the air conditioner. As soon as I get started, it's almost as bad as the birds. So not much as far as general updates, just more here's what's going on. So I did fix the plumbing inside of here, and the plant's back. It's happy, healthy, except for it did take its toll. So there's a lot of burnt, dying out leaves, a little wilting and stuff going on from what just didn't handle the heat. That's what happens when you don't get water, right? So there's parts of the plants dying and other parts healthy. So is what it is. So nothing else but just fix it and keep moving on. And if it's cool in the next couple days, maybe come in and clean out some of the limbs or branches that are in here. Everything else pretty much status quo, except for, you know, things are ripening. I made a bunch of salsa the other day, and just have, you know, more and more tomatoes on the left side, the small tomatoes doing their thing. I've got to get in and, wow, look at that, didn't even notice that one. I threw a J-hook on here because this was getting heavy. And looks like the lunchbox peppers, look at how dark red those are. That's really cool. There's more back there than I thought, so it looks like I need to pick those. And there's a bunch of orange ones hanging out, so I need to pick those and see what they're tasting like. Like I said, the Serrano hasn't been all that happy, especially after I slammed it into the tomato cage, but I do see a little ripe red Serrano, or half red. And there's a couple more on here, but the plant has not been super happy. But there are some peppers trying to grow. Not as good as my jalapeno peppers in the past, but you know, it's had its own challenges, so we'll see what happens. And then big tomatoes. I did a bunch of picking, did 2 picks this week. I was going to do a canning session yesterday, didn't get around to it. I was waiting for a couple more of these to ripen up. Not quite ready to pick. I see some dark red going on in there, so those will be ready to pick any time now. And I've got a bunch in the house. Wow, look at that one. That looks really nice. You know what? Let's pick it right here while we're on the vid. That's a pretty good looking tomato. I mean, it could get a little bit more ripe. It's really firm, and these are really meaty tomatoes. Again, these are bobcat tomatoes. They're determinate. and there's a couple more in there. I'm not going to pick those, just going to kind of let them hang out on the vine. And looks like I'll be doing a canning session this week, and I probably picked 25-30 pounds of tomatoes the other day. Haven't thrown it on the scale, haven't got around to doing that. Other than that, like I said, this is one of the multiple splices that are going to be all smushed together for this week. So other than that, that's all I've got. Thanks.